Welcome to Within the Frame, where we bring the most pressing issues across the globe into focus. I'm Kim Mok-yeon. As President Lee Jae Myung wrapped up a high-stakes overseas tour, AI cooperation has emerged as a headline achievement, positioning Korea as a strategic player in the next phase of global digital competition. Through agreements like the Stargate Project with the UAE, South Korea is entering the core of AI infrastructure development in the Middle East. And at the same time, the Lee administration is pushing forward an ambitious national agenda to scale up AI capabilities to a full-fledged domestic transformation that includes real-world applications in daily life. As momentum builds abroad and pressure rises at home, questions now turn to what's needed to turn diplomatic gains into long-term industrial leadership and whether Korea can seize this critical window to shape the future of AI on its own terms. For a deeper discussion on this, we are joined in the studio by Sung-soo Eric Kim, founder and CEO of DataCrunch Global and adjunct professor of Yonsei Graduate School of Business. A big welcome.
Thank you for having me tonight.
Thank you. And also joining us online is Park Ju-young, professor of Graduate School of Culture Technology at KAIST. Good to see you, Professor.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So let's begin our discussion with Professor Kim, of course, with the heart of the agreement. So through the summit, South Korea and the UAE agreed to participate in key areas of the UAE Stargate Project as well. Could you tell us of the significance of this 5GW scale data center that's being built in the UAE?
So Stargate is the largest data center project outside of the United States. If we think about data centers, it's typically 100 megawatt to 200 megawatt. So it's at least 50 times larger than a large-scale data centers that exist right now. It is very ambitious to serve the global AI computational needs around the world, and so it's going to be a significant project. It could be launched because UAE has a very strong focus on AI. If you recall, UAE established MBZ UAI, which is an AI university, first AI university in the world in 2019, followed by the name of the president, Mohammed bin Zayed. Yeah, we have to also recall that they have enough energy by our APR 1400 nuclear power plant that just commissioned in 2020 at Baccarat. So those soils make it easier for UAE to drive this gigantic initiative. I'm very glad that the current government agreed with UAE in the significant leadership for data centers and AI together to serve the global computational needs.
Very important development that we're going to look forward to. Now, let's expand on this, Professor Park. How could South Korea's joint participation in the Stargate project actually affect its AI, semiconductor, and infrastructure industries overall? And also, what kind of outcomes are you expecting?
Sure. So this was announced in May of this year with 1 gigawatt Stargate cluster in Abu Dhabi as a start and eventually going up. Under this, so UAE will incorporate ChatGPT nationwide, meaning that their people will have access to technology freely. Korea's primary role will be in the construction of the cluster with its energy, batteries, and climate technology, and of course, semiconductors. So this reminds us a bit of the profitable Middle East construction boom that Korea has enjoyed for profit. In the long term, though, so OpenAI is hoping to make this their central base in the Middle East and also part of Africa and Central Asia plan. So targeting half the world's population. So there appears to be a sizable promise of a market beyond North America or Korea for Korea's companies and governments.
Now, then beyond this project, Professor Kim, do you think this partnership between South Korea and the UAE regarding AI could actually boost Korea's standing in the Middle East?
I believe so because this is good marketing to the Middle East countries. That Korea is taking central stage in the AI development and also a data center development partnering with UAE. So I think it's good marketing and it leverages our memory industry driven by Samsung and SK Hynix. And also we have very, very strong plant construction capabilities. So it leverages all of our national prestiges in the Middle East region. But I think that we also have to cooperate with other countries to drive this initiative together because we cannot, of course, build everything by ourselves. For example, Japan has some precious, components that are required for data centers. Taiwan makes servers. We're really strong in memory. And so we have to collaborate with each other. But our definite advantage is that we have nuclear power technology, which is required for building data centers. We have SMR technology, specifically Doosan Enerbility is a leader in the SMR technology. So we should consider a larger industrial cooperation, not only in the electric sector, but also in the energy sector and construction sector to deliver this together.
A very good opportunity for us as well. So in order to support this kind of momentum, the Korean government announced a strategic AI cooperation framework, and it plans to form a bilateral task force with the UAE too. So Professor Park, in your view, what is the single most important factor to ensure that this partnership actually delivers real-world results?
Yeah, so I have looked at the memoranda, and it includes, of course, AI, also clean energy and defense industry cooperations, but of course, AI would be the focus of the day. So as for AI, there are two angles to look at this from. So right now, the investment level in AI is really high, and economically, it's very important because it actually accounts for a sizable portion of the economic growth in the US, for instance, this year. And those AI clusters, data centers, need huge investments to build. So there are giant monsters that consume huge amounts of resource energy. So the construction side can be profitable with huge investments. On the other hand, though, the AI sector itself is not really profitable at the moment. So some speculate there's an AI bubble. So a lot of famous companies are not making profits for now. So there's no clear forecast on when they will be turning a profit in any moment. So the Stargate initiative itself is a long-term venture. We have to be cautious about that. And so the Korea will need to be very clear on how they will make it a profitable enterprise and keep an eye on whether it actually will turn any profit.
So a steady and a patient reaction and move from South Korea would be necessary. Now, zooming out a little bit, President Lee's proposal on the AI Basic Society and the AI for Africa initiative from the G20 are actually gaining traction as pillars of the global AI governance. So, Professor Kim, how can these initiatives actually work together to make the best synergy?
So I think our AI Basic Society has very, very strong components because it touches on the boundaries of what we should do with AI in a global level that can be a shared value. For example, our proposition that AI should be used for universal public goods can be a shared value, also with digital inclusion for computing power, and also concerning ethics and safety and human alignment to the development is a shared value that we can promote around the world. I think G20 was a good stage that we can circulate our core initiatives in the global community, which was more escalated and more delivered worldwide through the APEC AI initiative, because APEC AI initiative really focused on regional cooperation and how we build the shared principles of AI, which I believe that the AI Basic Society Act can be a foundational philosophy behind these global initiatives. Of course, with the AI for Africa initiative, the goal is to support computing power and also build the workforce in Africa, and also build the foundations of the principles that they have to work on for AI governance and things like that. So our AI Basic Society Act initiative will work well as a shared value in the global society. I'm really happy that it's being circulated as a great idea.
So it's really, we're going to look forward to how those frameworks are really going to begin to align. Now, following that vision, President Lee also expressed the intent to cooperate with developing nations on AI, including support for building large language models like generative AI. Professor Park, what would a sustainable AI-based ODA model look like actually in practice, and what could actually mean geopolitically?
Yeah, so basing cooperations on LLM and Gen AI actually is a very novel idea because it's a new technology. It holds a lot of promise, but also we have to be remind ourselves that there are actually some problems, the unresolved ones, economically, culturally, intellectually, because it's such a new technology. So we need to be really careful when using ODA on AI projects because the benefits are a little bit speculative at the moment. And many developing nations are facing some consequences of just accepting AI as their base industry because, of course, there are new jobs created, which is good for the country, but it comes with some environmental and cultural costs. So whether these countries need to prioritize AI has geopolitical implications too, because if you're using up those precious resources and support that could have been used for other things if they are actually better for their country's development, that may not be a net benefit. So we actually need more study and observation to make this a successful venture.
Of course, this is a very new thing for us too. Now, so bringing this back to home, South Korean government recently rolled out its top 10 AI projects for public life, marking a major step towards a national AI-driven transformation. So, Professor Kim, do you think the government is actually moving towards the right direction with its current AI strategy? What are your thoughts?
So I think the 10 initiatives are aligned with the government's core philosophy that AI should be a universal public goods. So if we define the 10 initiatives, it's basically broken into 3 areas. First, consumer life, which the government is going to share agricultural price information or SME AI, SME startup, support. And also food and drug information, national heritage, those kind of things. And public service focuses on AI tax chatbot or law enforcement chatbot or permit chatbot that really directly relates to public service that anyone can easily access 24 hours. And social safety more focuses on building a safer society, preventing voice phishing or online adolescence crime or coastal guards, etc. I think the initiatives are really good, but we have to also consider a little bit of how not to compete with the private sector in the consumer life angle. For example, the SME startup assistant should not really collide with the industry. But I believe that government and the industry will work out on a clear line where government will support and the industries will also echo the policy and build a better resilient market together.
So working together while keeping the line would be very important. Then, in order to keep pace in this global AI race, Professor Park, what kind of restructuring is actually needed in Korea's R&D ecosystem and talent development pipeline?
Yeah, so if we're going to put AI at the center of R&D strategy of the country, we need to look at the areas that really needs improvements. So the current version of AI still shows some problems to actually become the thing we have to focus on, with a lot of commitment, for instance. It still returns a lot of incorrect or counterfactual results. That is not improving at a satisfactory rate we have been watching for many years now. And even some professionals report that the quality of work that AI generates is still lacking. So it has a ways to go before it actually becomes, the technology we can use in many cases. And also, as far as fostering talent, it's actually the negative impact on education that it's having is a little worrisome to an educator like myself. So the areas can revolutionize the accuracy of AI or improve the quality and expertise would be absolutely necessary. And of course, to do that, education is paramount. And the one that it stresses the pursuit of truth and obtaining high-level manual skills alongside AI literacy is all the more essential.
So when we look ahead, Professor Park, many experts actually call the next 1 to 3 years as a, quote, golden window for Korea to actually secure a competitive edge in the AI industry. So if you had to just name one policy priority to act on immediately, whether it's easing data regulations or otherwise, what would it be?
Yeah, so all in all, any technology or new science actually is there to benefit people, right? So if it's doing something well, something good for us, it's great. If it has some shortcomings, we have to overcome it. But I think one of the most important things that it actually will have to elevate the quality of life, the quality of work they produce. So, when AI plagiarizes or gives you incorrect results or causes serious damage, which we have reports of mental or physical, the providers will need to be heavily penalized. So actually, instead of just making faster, we actually have to think about making better for people, and that's the first step in becoming the leader in AI, because the world actually is watching who's going to make the next step in making it more reliable and human friendly.
Right. So making responsibility a big issue is also very important. Professor Kim, do you have anything to add on as a priority?
I think we have to think about what we're good at. Of course, it's going to take a lot of time and money to compete with OpenAI or Google. So LLM, I'm not really sure if that's what we want to focus on. But if we look at our industry portfolio, we are really strong in consumer electric market. For example, we have Samsung, LG. We also have heavy industry like Doosan Robotics and Hyundai Motors, etc. We are a consumer market strong country. Then we will have to think about how to collaborate in this strength. Maybe physical AI might be our focus, so that a lot of startups and established enterprise can focus on building a physical AI consortium and network, and co-develop the physical AI will be the initial proposition from my side. Physical AI is right around the corner, and we should seize that market. And I believe that will be the best strategy that we can pursue at this moment.
So since it's a relatively new industry, so we have to focus on what we're really good at right now.
Right. Not to make a synergy in our industry with the great AI policies that we're driving by the government.
Definitely. Thank you so much for your insights, Professor Kim.
Thank you very much.
And Professor Park as well. We really appreciate your time and your insights tonight.
Thank you very much.
And that'll be all from us on Within the Frame. Be sure to tune in again next time as we continue to explore the stories that matter. Until then, stay informed and engaged.